Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be going over a 2021 Chevy Equinox Premier with the Redline Edition package. But first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Chevy here in Murray for giving me some time with this Equinox. Check out the inventory link below. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 1.5 liter 4-cylinder that goes through a 6-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 25 around town and then 30 on the highway, with power outputs being 170 horsepower and then 203 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of the Equinox. So first off, I really love the design here on the hood. I definitely think it kind of reminds me of like the Camaro, basically, from a design standpoint. And then coming down below, you've got the full LED lights with the LED accent lights. And then down that little area, you've got like your turn signal, fog light situation happening in that area. And then notice that you do get the blacked out Chevy bow tie, and then everything's pretty much been blacked out as part of this Redline package, which I think looks really good. Like, look at that front end. It's pretty aggressive. Now coming on the side here, we've got two 35mm tires wrapped around 19-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then as part of this Redline Edition package, notice that, well, the wheel's all blacked out, but then also you get the red marking there, which I think looks really cool. And then the Equinox logo, notice that you've got like the red outlining on it, and then it's all blacked out in the rest of it. But other than that, here's kind of like your full side view on the Equinox. It's pretty normal looking. Oops. Now let's pop into the back of the Equinox. So first off, you actually get this nice covering here on the back, which I think is pretty cool. It says Equinox on it. And then underneath the covering, there's some extra storage space, and I mean, it goes down pretty far. But notice the covering goes all the way into the back of the seat. So if you've got the seat folded down like that one is, then you can still use it. You don't have to worry about damaging the back of the seat. And then you got these little tabs right here that actually fold down the seats, which is another nice little touch. But yeah, other than that, that's everything for the back of the Equinox. So, well, see ya. Oh, triple oops. Now going over the rest of the rear of the Equinox, notice that everything's pretty much all blacked out again as part of this Redline package. So all of your badges are all blacked out, and that's why you pretty much can't see them. You got the all-wheel drive badge there, which is almost invisible. And then you got the normal Equinox taillights. Nothing's really been changed with that. And yeah, other than that, you got parking sensors there at the bottom. The exhaust tip is like right underneath the Equinox, and that's all for the rest of the rear. Now going over the door panel here in the rear of the Equinox, notice you've got really nice soft touch here all along the door panel. You've got the stitching that goes all the way across. You got your little door handle and the window control just down below. And then here are the seats in the rear. So again, you've got the full leather here, the perforated leather here in the center portion, which looks really nice. You got all the stitching all down and definitely soft to the touch. But let's actually pop in. So stepping in, it's actually really easy to get in and across. In terms of headroom, it's actually really solid. And then legroom as well. Notice you've got some vents back here, and then you've got a couple of USBs, and then got a little armrest that pulls down, which now the other seat's down, it's really easy to access the armrest, but that's the back of the Equinox. Now going over the door panel here in the front, again, you've got the same soft touch here with the stitching that goes across. You've got your door lock and unlock, all of your window controls, and then you've got your mirror adjustments as well. Memory seats down below, and then this is actually for the tailgate. And then here are the seats at the front. So again, full soft touch with all of the stitching all throughout, and then the perforated leather there in the center portion. Nice with the bolsters. You got your adjustments there on the side of the seat, and then you got the pedals here in this little area with little hood latch release. Light control just up above, and then that's for your little fog lights. And then other than that, there's one more look before we pop in. Here's the steering wheel in the Equinox. First off, you got nice soft touch leather around the whole steering wheel with the darker stitching there in the center portion. And then you've got your little voice command, controls for the center stack, and then your phone controls. And then notice that you've got your little lane departure assistance, and then you've got your cruise control, and then that is your collision assistance. Radio controls are on the back. And then you have the stock for the turn signal, and then the stock for the windshield wipers, and that's all for the steering wheel. Now here for the center gauge cluster, it actually looks really similar to the gauge cluster they have on the Silverados. Notice that you've got like all the analog gauges, and then you have that little screen there in the center. Pretty much shows you the same information as you get in the Silverado. So like if you guys are familiar with the trucks, you'll be familiar with this. Some information on the vehicle, navigation, phone, music, all that kind of stuff. Pretty straightforward though with the center stack. Now coming to the center infotainment system itself, response time on the screen is really good. I mean, you basically press the screen and things happen instantaneous. And then notice it does come with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. And if you guys are wondering about the backup camera, resolution's really good. And there's kind of like a look at it. The trajectory lines do turn with the steering wheel, and well, that's all for that. Down below, we've got our analog controls for the infotainment system, and then you've got your analog climate controls. This does have a dual zone climate, and then you do get heated seats here for the front passengers as well. And then down here, you've got some USBs, and then you do get a wireless phone charger. And then here is the shifter for that 6-speed automatic. It does have a low range, and then notice you can turn on or off the all-wheel drive. And then yes, you can manually shift the gears yourself with a little button right there at the top. And then you get your parking brake down below with a couple cup holders, and well, that's all for that. I've got the center console here, which opening it up, you guys can see storage space in there is pretty decent. And then notice here with the dash, you've got the nice soft touch here with the stitching, and you got the perforated leather just down below. And then you've got the glove box, which is absolutely, you know, normal. And yeah, that's all for that. Now up here, we've got the sunglass holder that pops down, universal garage door opener, and then a lighter colored headliner. And well, that's all for the top. Now that we're done going to the interior on this Equinox, let's quickly get into the pricing. So in terms of pricing, this Equinox stickers for about $35,000 before any type of market adjustment. That being said, let's take her out and see how she drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off here in the Equinox. So first off, visibility over the hood. I mean, it's just like pretty much any other SUV. And by the way, we should probably clean the hood or the windshield a little bit. There's your visibility through both of the mirrors. And then here's throughout the rest of the rear, which I wish that window was a little bit bigger. I'm not sure why they didn't make it bigger. That's kind of interesting. But anyways, let's set off. That's neutral. That's low. That's drive. We are sitting off here in the Equinox, and first off, let's talk about the road noise and the ride quality. So from a ride quality perspective, I think it's really smooth. I mean, it's pretty much on par with other vehicles in the segments, right where it needs to be. And then from a noise perspective, again, I'd say it's average. And you guys can see the road's kind of getting a little bit more beat up because we've kind of progressed a little bit more through winter. So more salt and more big trucks to break up the pavement. But yeah, it's riding over it really smooth. And it's really easy to drive. Like it has this kind of like nice, like it's like the perfect size. It's like not too big, not too small either. So like if you have a car that's too small, it kind of rides a little bit rough. But if it's too big, then obviously it's cumbersome. This again is like kind of like in the perfect size category. And the steering's really good actually. It's like, I mean, it stays on center like really well. Like it's kind of scary how well it does. But braking, yeah, brakes are good, and we'll kind of see how the turn in is here. And of course, a bunch of snow flies off the car. Turn-in's really good though, actually. Again, it feels small. It definitely has a small, zippy SUV feel to it, which, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's what most people are kind of looking for in the segment. And going over a couple of these manhole covers, yeah, they really don't upset it. So yeah, so far, definitely really nice. Going over these train tracks here, not too shabby. And we'll get our full-blown acceleration through the puddle. Please don't tell the dealership no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, acceleration wise, it actually does a really good job. Now I will say the 6-speed automatic definitely does feel a little bit more on the old school side of things. I don't know why Chevy doesn't just put their 10-speed in everything. The 10-speed is so smooth, and yeah, I don't know. I think that they should just put that in all of their cars and call it a day. Get rid of every other automatic transmission you have, Chevy. The 8-speed, the 9-speed, the 6-speed, get rid of them, 10-speed and everything. But yeah, I mean, even going through these little puddles here, we're not losing traction or anything. It does really good with the all-wheel drive. There's not a ton of torque steer or anything like that. Like, look at that, it just handles it so well. But let's get into setting things up here with the Equinox. So first off, from an exterior aesthetics perspective, again, I feel like it's really subtle. I feel like Chevy definitely again, they kind of just went really conservative with it from a styling perspective. And then from an interior perspective, I mean, it's actually really nice. 35 grand for this interior in an SUV. I think that's actually pretty good. Like, you've got nice soft touch materials. The seats are very comfortable. It would be cool if they had the AC function. I mean, this is the Premier package usually that gives you AC in a lot of Chevy's vehicles, so that would be cool. And then in terms of the actual handling and everything here for the Equinox, I think it's a good SUV. I think it's a good little SUV. I mean, this is going to compete kind of against like your Toyota RAV4s, Honda CR-Vs, all that kind of stuff. It's right where it needs to be price point perspective. Power-wise, it's pretty much right where it needs to be. And equipment-wise, with the safety tech and everything, again, it's right where it needs to be. So yeah, I feel like it's just a good car. Like it's not outstanding in any sort of way. Like it's good at everything, and there's nothing that you really have to compromise with this car. So that's kind of what the Chevy Equinox is, right? It's like back in high school, you had the really hot girl that like you had to make some compromises to make it work, and then you had the girl that was like, you know, pretty good looking, but then she was also smart and she was kind of funny, and you didn't really have to make any compromises. She was kind of like the safe bet. That's what the Equinox is. It's kind of like the safe bet. Now, that is going to sum things up for our video on this 2021 Chevy Equinox. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Chevy here in Murray for giving me some time with the Equinox. Check out the inventory link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.